large group breaking through the fence surrounding the statue of former President Andrew Jackson.
Would you shut up, man?
And Corn Pop was a bad dude.
So the next time you're out buying groceries, or let's say that you're sitting at the pump pulling all the hair out of your head because you're already paying $8 a gallon on top of the tax, or let's say that you decide to go out with that special someone to eat in a nice fancy restaurant, you deserved it. It's been 2 weeks of brutality. It's been a rough couple of months, whatnot. Or maybe you're in the extended period for filing your taxes because of the winter storms like I am. Just remember, folks, your tax dollars, part of the proceeds are going to a noble and valiant cause. They're going to compensate our brave and heroic war heroes that are now veterans of the malicious and violent, vicious assault on the Capitol on January 6th, our congressional leaders, specifically the Wonder Woman, heroine of it all, Miss AOC herself. She's the biggest war hero of them all. It was so bad for her that she actually suffered PTSD as a result of it, being in the midst of such heavy-duty combat. Somebody give her a Purple Heart already. She deserved it. When in fact she was cowering in the bathroom. That's what she was doing. Hiding behind the toilet, balled up, shivering and shaking like a leaf on a tree on a windy day. But she's a war hero. By her own admission, recently it's been revealed that AOC is receiving therapy as a result of PTSD from the storming of the Capitol. These murderous, barbarous, Budweiser drinking rednecks from the trailer park that were looking to chop off her head. She has now compared herself and other members of Congress as war heroes, and they deserve, and they're entitled to, money to pay for their therapy, their time off of work, and everything else. You're paying for her therapy, as well as am I. Do you think that it's deserved? Do you think we really should be paying for her therapy bill? Ask yourself that question. I honestly don't believe I should be paying a penny for that. You should be paying for that yourself. You already make over $200,000 a year for basically doing absolutely nothing but being a fucking buffoon and a dimwit and a moron that doesn't know shit from Shinola. They thought there was like 5 or 6 branches or branches of the government. They thought that Palestine was an independent nation. They compared the environmental issues of today to World War II. Everything else, I have a whole list of things. I'm pretty sure she even said that we can land on the sun if we just do it at night. But I might be making that up. Who knows? She says so much dumb shit all the time. I can't keep up with it all. But people think that she's like the highest of IQs, the sharpest and the most savvy politician they've ever seen. That's when you know that the optics have gone way out of control. But it doesn't surprise me because that's what most people think about a lot of these boob tubers and whatnot, that they're so great and they're so real and all that stuff. But it's because people have like such a high degree of gullibility moving throughout their bloodstream, within their mind. They've been programmed to be gullible since way back when, since the creation of religions and politics and theater and music and everything like that has basically created like sorcery type spells that people get put under in order to be like completely catatonic and hypnotized by all of this nonsense and BS. It turns into a level of fanaticism when it's mixed with some kind of ideal or ideology to put on top of that. So AOC, of course, is the darling of the left. She's considered to be the most feared congresswoman there is, but nobody fears her. Everybody looks at her as a buffoon. But nobody wants to say nothing because they'll be looked at somebody that mansplains or somebody that's trying to talk down to her because she's a woman of color, and all these victim stance roles that they take nowadays in order to get themselves out of hot water and to shield themselves by a wall of countless rebuttals to rebut everything that you say. The therapy bill, which will probably be in the millions, will be paid for at your expense. You see, there's so much going on nowadays that you just have to laugh at this kind of a thing. So the storming of the Capitol, of which the media hounds and all these celebrity fist-fucking lapdogs of them and all the rest of the elites have been pushing this narrative that it was almost like the Alamo. Like something straight out of like Gone with the Wind or something. There was slow opera music going, cannons were blazing, long rows of muskets and sabers and bayonets just running at each other, ladders being placed up on the sides of the building, they were going through the windows, people were being hung in the middle of the square, the flag was burning and all of that stuff. Bunch of people rushed up into the first floor of that building, of which basically is the people's house anyways. I mean, our taxes put every single stone in that building. It was about a handful of people that actually got to the upper chamber of Congress itself and wreaked havoc. But not one of these people were armed, and there wasn't really a shot fired. As a matter of fact, the only shot that was fired was a Secret Service agent shooting a woman point blank range in the chest as the door was barricaded that prevented their entrance while the congressional members were still in there. I don't think for 1 second any of their lives were ever put into danger at any point in time. But then again, I wasn't there. But they talk about how 5 people were killed. They talk about how vicious and violent and how nasty it was. All these Budweiser drinking, trailer park living rednecks were everywhere. And you would think that it was much worse than it actually was. But then again, these same people, these same exact people, including AOC herself, said nothing of what was going on all summer long. They looked at it as a liberation uprising. A peaceful protest and march towards equality. How do you think old Wendell and Ethel felt when their store that it was their legacy for their life was being burnt to the ground and looted, and old Wendell couldn't even pull up his Winchester to off one of these motherfuckers because the cops are right there saying, you do that, you're going to prison for murder. Where's the compensation for them? Where's their therapy costs provided? Where's the money given to them to rebuild their store? All summer long, 25 people were killed. And that's just what they're telling us about. Billions of dollars in damage. Many of these businesses gone forever now. While AOC sat in there and praised the whole event all summer long as a strong stance for equality and unity and addressing these scumbags that have been keeping everybody down. Old Wendell and Ethel that have done nothing to anybody except maintain that general store that they had for decades. AOC had no sympathy for them. But you want me to have sympathy for you and your bullshit-ass ploy stunt of so-called PTSD, and you compare yourself to war heroes that actually that served in combat overseas because you won't ever do it. And the rest of your buddies over there in Congress, your fist-fucking gerbil racing weirdos that you run around with, will never do it themselves and dodge the drafts themselves and have kept their kids out of combat themselves. You compare yourself to the veterans that risked their lives and had the balls to go over there and fight your wars? Are you fucking kidding me? I've got buddies that have lost limbs. I got a friend of mine lost half of his arm and his leg. Taking him to the VA hospital in Long Beach as he's screaming, beating on the chair because his missing leg is itching. It itches so bad that he's crying and screaming. With the lady playing Candy Crush telling him to quit his whining. He turned into a heroin addict because that's the only way that he can cope with it. In the Sunni Triangle, that happened to him. That's a war hero, AOC. That's a real war hero right there. You ain't. You're a punk. You were cowering in a bathroom. I would have a lot more respect for you if you were standing in the hall with a fucking Glock talking about, what's up, bitches? Come on down this hall, pop one in your ass. I would probably vote for you if you'd done that. But if you run for president right now, Lord help us, because you're a fucking coward. If you can't handle some shit like that, what's to say that you're not overseas meeting some leader somewhere and some ISIS-type militant group or a terrorist cell takes over the palace and your life's in jeopardy? Are you going to cry that you're suffering from PTSD again? And you're going to retreat somewhere into the West Wing and we won't hear about you for months, but we're going to pay your bills? You see, I said nothing all summer long about what was going on in the protests / riots of George Floyd. I said nothing. When they were rushing federal court buildings, police stations, and burning them down and all that stuff, I saw it as a result of a greater problem, and I always said that. But now that the shoe is on the other foot, and the other side has done its part in rushing the capital of what they saw was an injustice, whatever it may be, many of those people had many different issues that they were concerned about. People that were working on the pipeline, people that were border patrol agents, people that lived in border towns that saw Biden's administration as a whole bunch of people were going to be flooding through, of which has occurred. Other people looking at taxes going through the roof, inflation getting out of control. Many of their jobs at jeopardy and stuff. That's what a lot of these people looked at it. A lot of these people looked at it as like there is a lot of inconsistencies involving this election. 80 million people voted. Well, where are they at? I'm not going to say it was a fraud or not, but I'm saying these are the issues of the people on this side. I've heard their issues, and I've heard the issues of the people on the other side all summer long. But it's the level of hypocrisy. Let's not forget the time that Trump was thrown into the bunker or went into the bunker when they rushed up on the White House. They were attempting to siege the White House at that moment. They were screaming, get him, bring him out here, hang him, kill him, shoot him, beat him. Let's go in there and get him. All this stuff was being shouted. But you won't hear that from the media, but it was being done. If you've been watching it, you would have heard it yourself. I did. In a situation like that, Trump went into the bunker. I personally thought it was a cowardice move. And I'm here to tell you that I thought it made Trump look very bad. And he didn't get no cool points from me for doing it. I was actually disappointed in something like that. I would have gotten a much bigger kick and a laugh out if he would have been standing in the fucking window with a rifle. Or if he'd have gone out on the front lawn like, what's up? Come up in here and get me, motherfuckers. I'm right here. With an assault rifle in his hand or a rocket launcher or some shit. That would have been epic. But he didn't do that. He went to the bunker. Cowering down there, just like AOC was cowering in the bathroom. And I don't care what any of you say. He's the president. He told the Secret Service, fuck you. I'm not going down there. I'm going to stand my ground right here in this house, the people's house. So you see, I don't give no brownie points to either side in any of this shit that's been going on. Because all of it's been led and driven by emotions. And flames that were fanned by the media and all the rest of these people that have done this as a calculated game of chess in order to achieve a goal. Keep us at each other's throats. Keep us divided and conquered. Keep the circus and bread going. Don't forget, the Kardashians' new season's coming on. Dancing with the Stars, The Masked Singer, all the rest of these shows to entertain you and to keep you busy and occupied and distracted. Meanwhile, the most feeble-minded, senile president imaginable, of which he's going to be gone soon, folks, like I've been telling you. He'll be gone soon. He'll be gone very soon. Is going to be deploying our military back into the Middle East, stretching it very thin. The shit that's happening at the border right now, there's still children in cages. Subjected to worse conditions they were in than they were 4 years ago. Inflation's going up. Prices of gasoline going through the roof. The stock market's going down. All these things are happening. And yet everybody looks at it as progress. Like we're in a better state now than we were before because we don't have somebody that's a mean person and says nasty stuff. Like the words of that man had ever hurt you in any way, shape, or form outside of you allowing those words to hurt you themselves. But the actions of what's going on now are hurting this country far more. It's just, it's proof is in the pudding. But what's to stop another siege of the Capitol from occurring? Let's say, for example, this time it happens from Russia. They've been left unchecked and unconfronted for so long that they're now boasting that their military is 80% up to modern date. That's way more powerful than our military. Make no mistakes. Our military is in the shitter, and they're talking about defunding the military. And a lot of the funding has been pulled out of the military budget to pay for, sensitivity training and whatnot, and money being spent on other people's militaries in other parts of the world. We got Minuteman missiles sitting down in these silos that are rusting and crumbling to dust. Radar and communication systems that are out of date. You saw what just happened to the Colonial Pipeline. Meanwhile, Russia has been developing a very modernized and scary form of stealth technology that's of a different kind. Already their submarines run completely sonar silent, like Red October, and you can just show up on Virginia Beach or Miami Beach or Coney Island or anywhere on the East Coast, and you're just out there surfing or soaking up the sun, and bam, there's a fucking submarine sitting right in front of you, and there's nothing you could do about it. It's too late by that time. Amphibious units rolling up onto the beach, pouring all kinds of special forces unit of Spetsnaz out onto there. Something just flew over your head and you didn't even see what it was, and you looked around, you didn't even hear it. But bam, all these paratroopers are landing all around you, more Spetsnaz. And they have just now seized control of the Capitol. Because we're so concerned with what's going on in the Middle East and all these other places that's none of our fucking business to begin with. We're stretched too thin and all our technology's out of date. Has AOC considered the fact that could possibly happen? Is she going to need more therapy when that happens, or if it happens? And you want to run for president. You know what? I think you should just go back to bartending. And I hear it's far less stressful. But you see, these are the kind of people that we have in our government. Full of cowards and blowhards and windbags and antagonists and shit starters and gossipers and everything else that have been twisted and turning everything in this country to work against us and to keep us at each other's throats for so very long that you have to ask yourself, what use is the government any longer? I kind of look at government as an outdated concept. It's about as outdated as a king and a queen, as any kind of an emperor or anything like that. It's time to evolve and move towards a different form of governance that is more dependent upon the people self-governing and choosing their own destiny, as opposed to having some big brother, Uncle Sam, bully extorting us for money for nothing. I mean, look what Elon Musk is doing with this space thing. The private sector is actually trying to put people in space. We're still paying taxes to NASA, and they ain't doing shit. When was the last time they've been to the moon or anywhere? Been a while. Topic for another time, though. But drop me a comment. Let me know what you think about this AOC being in therapy. The bill that you're going to pay, that I'm going to pay, I don't think I should pay shit. But you already know it's going to cost millions of dollars because she's going to find the most state-of-the-art treatment, the most high-priced psychologist or psychiatrist that they can find. And it's all going to be on your dime, not mine, not hers, mine and yours. Drop me a comment. Tell me what you think. Till the next one.